weights on, let's get in a position where you want it, right? And we don't have to lift the weights too. These wheels are made for positioning though, okay? They're also made to cushion. So when we're hanging on this, these kind of nice fat feet right here, okay? They're not made to hang and somebody pushes it while you're down there talking the whole way across. Okay, you go, whee, you get one of those power talkers. No, we don't do that, all right? When this is hanging, you can't move it, all right? So, let's move it that way first, and then we'll bring it up to the thing. Now, when we're shoving it this way, don't be right here, right? What happens? Yeah, I go over, right? So always go on this side of the tires, pick it up right here, and we walk through it. Now, one thing you might want to do before we shove this over is what? Where's our lifeline go? Way out there, right? So now I'm having to do this number to get to it for now. So let's bring it back a little bit, and let's hook our line on there. Hook our carabiner in there and drop it over the edge. Carabiner should fit on there.
You want a piece of wire?
No. It should hold.
You want to drop the whole back down there?
Huh?
You want to drop the whole back down there?
Yeah. Makes my life easier. Oh, but first, oh, just joking. All right. Now, where's this going?
On the end of that.
Okay, how are we going to attach that? What do y'all got? What do y'all use? All right. Just out of care. I got a spare one here in case we need it, but. All right, so that goes to here. All right, which one's the line? Okay, there. So to tighten this, all I have to do first is what? Pull this through. Don't make this thing real tight. You don't have to. All this is preventing that from going over. So even that would be fine. If it's like this, what do I also have? Okay, and we can trip. We don't want to put a trip line here. All right, so you can see, just put one through there first, and I can kind of tighten it, and then I back it up a little bit. Now what do I need to do?
Fish the end through it.
There you go. And you just wind it back and forth. So if I came out this way, I go that way, I go that way, and now you start pulling that loop through. Like that, you start pulling that loop through. Oh, yep, there you go. And see, it's real easy to do. I just stand here. It's automatic. All right. Now, to finish this off, this will hold. This would be fine. This would not go anywhere. All right. But what do we do to lock it? Come back through here. There you go. This is back tied. There's no way this can go over. So if I hooked into that line, I'm still technically hooked into here, right? So that big metal bar right here, correct? It's just to help me, remember, protect me. So what else do we need to do before we go over? Safety line. All right, let's go to that one. What are these? I thought they would keep those ropes warm so they don't get cold, right? What's this for? If you're going around something sharp, okay? Or concrete mainly. All right, this is real good for if you're going over concrete. All right, so where's our two ends? One end needs to be adjustable, Okay, that's this one, I guess. Okay, let's post this in. Will this reach all the way down to the ground now? Let's take that one out. Let's take that way, this way. Oh, these are easy to take off. Let's take these off, and let's take this other end and drop it over and make sure it gets down to the ground. That's an important thing, right? Alright, let's see if that reaches the ground. I'm gonna say no.
Yan, that's fine.
There you go. Pull it talk to right here. And I'm getting tired and I cannot save myself right now. Do we always just do this with one person? No, we always have somebody on top of the roof, right? Because what's their job? To look over and make sure that person's okay. Because if they get in trouble or fell and now they're hanging or something, who calls 911? Yeah, me up here, right? You know, because it's like, no, we don't do that. What do we do? Yeah, you won't believe this. But, yeah. One of the things you can do if a person forgot their safety, let's reach him real high up there. Let me see. Who has a rope grab? And the lanyard. Just quick it in there. We'll hook it in there. We didn't have to go far. We'll go right here. Alright, so which way should this be pointing? There you go. Now how do we test this? Goes that way, but it doesn't go that way, right? When I'm rappelling, going down, I hold it like this. If I should fall, what happens? I can't hold this. I can hold it for a while, but it's going to come out of my hand, and I'm going to be hanging on this thing. All right? So, like we were talking about there, you make a knot, and you're trying to just barely reach this, just to even flick it to make it come down a little bit, just so maybe I can reach it again. And this is going to be our third scenario that we're going to do. Well, let's say if I'm too tired, and I'm way down here, and I can't reach it, another thing you can do is your bud can come up here. Don't untie this, but what you do is you push a loop through and get about 2 feet of it out, you know, put on each side. And then just push it through. When I'm pulling hard, it's going to get to a point where I start slowly rappelling down. See how it's going to move? Now remember, my chair is attached to what? The lifeline, and it's locked up. So I'm not moving down. What am I pulling down? This, so it's a little closer to me, and now I can go. If you do just a little bit, I can do it again if I need to. If I gave him 5 feet and stuff, and now he has it. Now you're stuck with that amount. Alright? If you do that during when you're on your real job and you had to lower someone, when that person gets backed up, don't let them go back over. They're tired. Drink water, go eat something, whatever. But before you go over, reset this. Bring this back up about 3 or 4 feet and suck it all back through. Okay? Everybody good on that? Anybody have any questions? I have no idea what I can say. Alright. Now, while he's playing with that, take it back. Okay, let's say y'all are on a big building. I was gonna say, okay, over there where where's the stadium? Anyway, I took it away, huh? But let's say this was the end of our rope. So we're short. How can I connect this to another rope? There you go, get one of those blue terminations. So what you do is which way does this go? Rope always goes in the little one. So we go ahead and just do this. And we just do it. Blah, 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 blah. And I know it's probably going to be too short. Okay. No, it ain't. Okay. Alright. Then I get my new rope. Right? And I have a blue bar on that one. I just happen to have one right here. Right? And then I hook this one, that one. And now I have extended this rope so I can use this as my safety. That's the only way y'all can hook these two ropes together.
But that would only have to be like on the roof, right? Because I mean, if you have it...
Right, you're right. This only is on the roof. So if let's say this was like you're talking about was right here, that would be no good, right? So what would we do? Go up there, shorten this rope until it gets to about right here. Then throw that rope over. Y'all see that? So if you need to extend this rope, and same thing for that, if you needed to extend it for that one, this is it. Very simple. So what do you need? Just make sure the best thing to do is every single coil rope you have 2 of these in there. So you can put one on each end. Now, let's say I'm going to rappel with this end. And I already have this on there, and I know this will reach the ground. Don't just chunk this over. Now one thing, I can lower this with that on there, and as long as it's on the ground and I'm landing like this, that's not a problem. Just make sure it's not like this and you're coming to here and you're gonna have to jump the rest of the way. You don't do that. So you can leave this on here, just don't chunk it over because you don't want to bang that on there. You just hand over hand lower it down there. Or what's the other thing you can do? Take it off and throw it back into your gear bag. Okay? And that's what we're going to do. Because we know this is going to reach. Alright. So, are we about ready to jump? What else do we need to do before we start putting people over?
Put the weight.
Counterweights, that's a good thing. That'd be good. We talk about 1 to 4 and everything?
Yes.
Okay, 1 to 4. All right. So, how many did we put on here? Until this one's stacked up to here. All right, let's see it this way. What's the other thing we need to do? Before anybody goes over, you double check. Make sure this one's shut, or that's tied off, and those two are. Because you don't want to be the one to jump and you're assuming somebody did that. You go and blast, okay? So, what do you want to do? Who's hanging on this? Me. Yeah. So, is it okay for me to go walk over there and look to make sure everything's hooked in? Yep. Even though he might have rigged it, I want to check because who's hanging? And vice versa. If I rig it, you know, it's something like I like to call the right way. I know what I'm doing, but still, he's hanging on. He's going to go double check. Who's the number one thing that these ropes don't break? These don't come apart. That won't break. And if I had a Sky Genie in my hand, I'd hold it up and say, "This won't break either." All right. Where does the issues happen when we fall? It's us. There you go. We're the ones that are going to make the mistake. So what do? We double check. If I rig that, do I check that one or do I have him check it? Have him. Because to me, I'm rigged. It looks correct. So have somebody else look at it and say, "Hey, can you check on that and make sure it's correct?" But like I said, if I rigged it all, I'm going to walk up. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. And he's going to like, "Oh, whoa. We need to change this." All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and we can bounce a couple of people off. Let's put the counterbalances on there. Or, you know what? Let's go break for lunch right now. We'll come back here and once we go start jumping, we're going to stop and we will continue until we stop. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to break for lunch. We're going to meet downstairs up on that mezzanine, you know, up on the second floor where we met.